Did you ever see that movie about Stalin? It was so funny. It has all these comics
Was
in
it
it.
the death of Stalin?
I think it was where they were all just like,
that was a great movie.
wasn't it great?
Fantastic.
That's how I imagine it is in the government. Would you really want to be in there?
Well, I think I'm more able to fix it than anybody alive right now because I'm unique position. I've litigated against all these agencies. So I've sued USDA more than anybody. I've sued EPA, FDA, EPA, NIH. I've sued DOT. I've sued Department of Agriculture. All of them. And I just won a big suit against the FCC for lying to the public about cell phone radiation. When you sue them, you get a PhD in corporate capture. And I know in many of these agencies, I know who the bad guys are. I know who to move. I know the perverse incentives that put agency capture on steroids. And I'm not scared of the bureaucracies. Most people, like President Trump, came in and he said, I'm gonna drain the swamp. But then he brought in, Scott Gottlieb, a business partner of Pfizer, to run FDA. Gottlieb did a $100 billion favor for FDA and then went back to Pfizer. Alex Azar, a pharma lobbyist, to run HHS. A Verizon lobbyist to run FCC. A Goldman Sachs CEO to run the Treasury Department, a military contractor to run the Defense Department, a coal industry lobbyist to run EPA, an oil industry lobbyist to run Interior. So, and I understand why he did that, because those people, you have these huge bureaucracies, some of them 40, 50,000 people, and at every level of that bureaucracy, some technocrat who doesn't like what you're doing has the capacity to perform, to commit a civil disobedience that will embarrass the president, shut the lights off somewhere, shut the trash service off, put farmers out of work, shut the water off for an entire, whatever it is, they can really hurt you. So most presidents who, come in, they bring somebody safe with them, somebody from the industry that's regulated, who can keep everything in line. But it's the opposite of draining the swamp. Putting John Bolton as the head of NSA is not going to end the military-industrial complex. He is the military-industrial complex. Oh, I wouldn't do that. I know how. I'm not intimidated by the bureaucracies. I know how to fix them. They're going to be very intimidated by me. I know how to fix the CIA. I know how
would you fix the CIA? I mean,
I would do exactly what my dad was going to do, which is to separate the espionage division from the clandestine services. They should be two separate agencies, so that they can. So espionage is not tied into all of these things. So there's accounting done. You account for the blowback. The CIA right now, they kill out terrorists in Afghanistan with a drone strike, and they say that's a success story. Well, he's got 12 brothers.
Right.
So now they're going to come after us. And is that really a success story? Is it a success story to get rid of Saddam Hussein? The CIA will tell you that was a huge success. Well, what happened? Iraq is worse off than we found it. We killed more Iraqis than Saddam Hussein. We pushed Iraq into a proxy posture with Iran, which was exactly the foreign policy outcome we've been trying to avoid for 2 decades.
Right.
We created ISIS. We drove 4 million refugees up into Europe and destabilized every democracy in Europe and created Brexit. We created BRICS, which is now about to take the dollar away from us as the global reserve currency, which is going to be trillions of dollars in wealth extraction by other nations from the United States, or total the middle class. That's what we got for overthrowing Saddam Hussein. But the CIA still regards that as one of its greatest success stories. And nobody is counting the cost of blowback.
No, they never do.
Right.
They never, and when they do calculate the cost, they never include the cost of human lives or communities in
Of course not.
Just the cents.
Yeah. So, I mean, they did the same thing. Guatemala, they overthrew Jacobo Arbenz in 1953, and Guatemala has never recovered. We are still getting refugees at the border because of what we did there in '53. We destroyed the first democracy in the 4,000-year history of Iran in 1954 when we overthrew Mohammad Mossadegh, and we're still paying the prices today of that coup d'état with our relationships with Iran. We should be best friends with Iran. The Iranian people are just like the American people, more than anybody in the region except for Israel.
Right.
We should be best friends with them. And instead, and we were during, a lot of the Cold War.
That's really why I got fired. That was really what my tweet was about. Well, I had gone to Israel, and it was all everything, and we were in Israel, and our phones rang, and it was pretty staggering. We were on a, what do you call it, where you go?
Conference call?
No, we were on our mission to go to the holy sites. I can't remember the word for it, but
like a pilgrimage.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah, that. And our phones rang, our cell phones, and it was people in Iran. And they were like, hi. And we're like, we didn't think to say, how'd you get our numbers? We were staggered. They go, this is such and such from Iran. They spoke English, and some spoke Hebrew too. And there were 4 of us that got the calls, and they said, we just want you to know we love the Jewish people. We have no problem with Israel. Our problem is with we just want you to know that we love you. We send you love, and our problem is here, not with you. And we don't, what they're saying about both of us, let's not let this go. And so I started talking with them and with journalists in Iran about the Iran deal of the Obama administration. And that's what I was tweeting about for 3 months, about the effect of the Iran deal on Iranian women. That's who I was speaking with. And so, my tweet was, they monitored it and found the one thing that they could use to call me a racist. But it was about how, they destroyed all, like they're doing here now, they destroyed all the middle-class women business owners there. It's by the book, the destruction of a country, and then they put in extremists with no women's rights at the top, So they destroyed those women, and they did it in Egypt too. And now they're doing it here. It's the same assault on women as a class and middle and working class people for a elitist group of oligarchs, and everybody's their serf. And that's why I referenced the movie I referenced, because they were coming to throw any woman who could read, write, had a college education, her business was taken away. I mean, Americans don't even know it. But anyway, I just love them. I love those people in Iran, and one thing you might be interested in is that in Iran and China, people are converting to Christianity like it's a pandemic. It's just amazing numbers. And that's why those places are changing. They're having a spiritual awakening too, of self-accountability. That's kind of what's going on all over the planet.
There's a genocide against Christians across the entire Mideast.
Yeah.
I mean, literally millions of Christians have been eliminated from those countries.
And Africa too.
Yeah, Nigeria, I think 50,000 have been killed in the last couple of years.
Well, they represent a significant threat because they are thinkers and they've had a spiritual awakening. So sometimes I feel like anybody who's a believer or has deep spiritual, like you said about your anger will cause anger in the world, that kind of thinking, they don't like that. The people at the top who just want to control and whatever they're doing.
Yeah.
Maybe they're not even thinking about it. Maybe they're just so out of control, they don't see where it heads. Maybe they're
Yeah.
just so selfish and self-consumed, they don't even see, but I don't know.
It's
But
like
I
the
do know.
collective ego.
Huh?
It's like the collective ego. It's, the ego is kind of it's self-will run riot. It's, it's the source of all this strife and um, an anger and war and everything else.
Do you think those are vestigial things that might be passing from the human?
I don't think so. I, I don't think so at all. I mean, I don't. I think every generation has to struggle with them, and that technology amplifies, the capacity for ego domination to dominate all of society. And, I think that technology has an incredible promise, like AI and blockchain, to make government more transparent, to make it more the servant of the best impulses of our society, to democratize us, the same way that the internet would. But the internet promised it was going to democratize information. And what did it do? It became a tool for totalitarian control.
Yeah.
And AI has an even more frightening potential to completely control us, to warp our perception of reality, to distort it in ways that are highly manipulated, and to control every aspect of human behavior, all of our interactions, what we do inside and outside of the home. And I mean, they're already harvesting our information. We have Siri and Alexis in our home. They're not working for you. They're working for Bill Gates, who's,
Right.
Every time you cough, every time you sneeze, every time you say something to your wife about, this mattress is a little bumpy, I need a new one. Then you get 6 mattress ads in the morning. They're
Have you ever tried swearing at Siri? No, it's Alexis that you swear at, right?
What happens?
She gets all offended. It's pretty amazing.
How did you discover that, Roseanne?
Because I just tried it. Because I go, hey, you know what I think of you? You're a so-and-so and so-and-so. She goes,
I mean, was it at a time when you were angry at her?
no, I was trying to spy. I was being a spy on all the spying. So I go, hey, you're this and that. And she goes, that is offensive. Or I can't remember what she said.
Oh, you see